Hello again. I'm going to adjust things and put my toys down. Okay, hi. Thanks. It's been great to be here on this very first full day. I'm going to read from Symphony for Human Transport. And Zoe asked me if I would do something with sound in my reading, which I thought I could just go. But so I'm going to do that. I was very pleased that Reese and Nia's piece was put on in that building out there, that paper mache thing that looks like, I'm not quite sure what. But then I was reliably informed that it was actually a replica-ish, kind of imaginary replica for slate workers, shacks. Yeah, for a shack for a slate worker. And the reason that pleased me is that I like to do ambient things. I have a kind of thing about finding something where I am. And that some of you went to that environmental utterance conference down south a few years ago. And we did, some of us did some of those kinds of things there. So yesterday I walked down to Lower Bangor and I found a piece of this and I thought, what's that? And then I stopped somebody on the road and had a nice chat with him. He told me about slate and we talked about horse-drawn cars and things like that. I don't usually talk like this before I read. I usually just launch right in. But in fact, I thought, well, I do have this little story to tell about the stuff that I'm going to do. So I have this piece of slate, and I have what I usually think of as my wire lungs, but I'm thinking of them with this piece of slate today as the tracks. I finally dreamed last night, after waiting years to repeat my life in copies under dark and light. In the dream, there were familiars and machines. One took thinking and assembled it like tiny death ray octopi welded to a self. They stretched out in translation for the watchers. In the dark spotlight of the dream, the door of the train flew open. The door of the train flew open and my mind quelled fires gleaming dim. The mind's clean as dirt, beautiful as the soft hair-curled bone. Morning, opening, prinks the not night, betide the aegon, still the quietude inside your mind, the life you live. Come up to me in song. The day's daylight in its turn, a plangent fire burn on the skin, a doubled sever, counting doubled clouds beside the hour that dreamed within a dream house on a cliff, a rental trough bestride the dream. I went within another house, also not mine, and sought the earlier dream's high room. The outer time already knew. The door of the train flew gently, absent, turned to words, ungathering sublate's call beside a curled tongue, the birth of presence mirror, tusk. Given to pre-existence, karma drags on the known, the pad-like wavy doors hitting open, close, on and off, very near the hands. One might exuberate without closely conching, too near very earth, who knows? The door of the train flew open, 1,000 doors left my mind to open into one by one they opened, thereby no one else. The trees burn, cool, invisible in pantomime. Doors retrofit a purpose we could climb into, the records metaphor unsaid beside the train whose open door bejawed exuberate, hinge. The animal of life's forgetting proffered luck, obeisance, flaunt. The animal could laugh and call out, words and wrapped with sounds cut. Honk, the bird strings plucked inside the door whose train invents its passengers. The door to the train flew open, measured, far skill, flanked with grooming, fit beside our chain-faced blind, a smooth, flat surface where we count the measurement, safe harbor. Cut, 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 cut. It made a sound, intangible to any borrowed waves of air we walked through with our legs turned into soft parts. The soft parts were a background to the retrocussive, much where we were wary and available at once, completely knowing we could not know experience, whose sound was to the pulse we walked, each other's oxygen transformed, a layer much like knowing's letting go. The door to the train flew out. Inside the city scooped it up to luscious caliber joint worthy like the door were fixed atop a high apartment. The city had an answer to that, clustering break sounds to the train sites full of glass, foreseeing through ourselves and no break flat on heaven's hot domain. Scooped up, we were born there, quivering thence like brain on electric heat, a kettle or absorptive surface deep as arrows quiver on their own deep strew there, targeting the city, par-stroked with a definite quality of haste, grinding with a given taste like. The door of the train blew open in a slow motion breaking of the set, whose populace were nicely clearance, temporal, well and borrowed languages. I start out perfectly rich. My body money fell out through the holes that made comparatives temperamental, at the least the air a cyanide emptied out. And now I'm going to read a few poems from a new book. It just came out called Foreign Native, published by Black Radish Books in the States. And I'm going to use printed out pages, because the book is so new. I was preparing with these, so they're the ones I'm going to use. This is a spring drum. This poem is called Here You Are, Open Out. Of forces shelling and street ideas in the shells on our feet and capital we announce it begin, struck, capital begin in clash was known start on the increase. They out began in shelling and no an actioned, abused, bright starling. Forces crashed through them, they were of street and capital, sold or selling started after rapidly they came, the actionated took and gave equally, the force of action increased rapidly, they leagued and made their militant directory close up, hired with yours. There were so many signs we were variantly tarrying, spreading to the news, giving out coordinates, south, northwest, come along, push out, continuous in your battery, give ourselves time, give up time, totally harping in the shells, shelling the beans we'll eat in the square we've drawn round ourselves with noting, hoping so much darted or any brigade sensitive and fluttering our hands according to witnesses. Flanked and guarded our minds were like those wishes incarnate, compeers from both sides smiling, ear, spread this way out, chanting a family compound. Opposition fills the daily, suffuses the electric call, forms and rebakes tannic, keening in a botched bird, but love sighs, the wind makes up its mind across analysis, a counter-resource sail across a gentle cavalcade, a close structure in our feet that move awkward with the shells on them, balancing, no quartered, a gentle stage bracketed by neon fortitude, those waves of electric solids freeze down over our shoulders with a bright shriving. Dozens of security ideas holster themselves over any sense of what a granted foreigner might be in these regards. With standing search and complied missives unclear as the warped air over our shoulders keeps on floating without name or rightful name or sense docked firmly to the top, looking up from the square to show the range of figurines, the hamper of our shell's priority. We said a flaw is grand figure parted, gone beyond our straits to lasso rapids, lasso rapid loves undo the shells, lift up the feet and shell ideas, act on bright. This poem is called Mercy Proof. It seems contusion ceremonies grace the serious approach. Yes, I think so. Do that. They deep and deeper consider, and there is low, back, plunk, and oh, touch. Scratch birds come to announce, like turning a corner around a wall, the sound drops. I think constancy is the object, gather, a distant difference of a distant close. They keep talking and I want to listen in the way of that's begin. We swivel forward. Someone's at the door inside your mind. You swing your hand up, answer it. The spelt passage wounds out wide and the thin river inside. It has gotten in there, spooky kind of vibrate, and its echo, loving each other without understanding how that is. Groups of forests call out. The voice curve shunts, the voice curve shunts, and the side showing you crunch trees, the crunch tree forest beside you. We wait, the hollow grows inside the crunch tree. The swallow rackets soften down. The swallow racks little clear dents beside you, then without you. Grows over there, the lilt tends. You can hear the swallow. The very large room is pleased. Enormous spoons tunk the sides of the room. The middle of the room, yes, thinks you tinier and tinier, closing around the river high inside the sharp river. Reason errs out. The next poem is called The First of the Last Wings. Just got two more to read. This one, I'm going to play a short clip to accompany me. And the clip has on it, I'll try to get these words arranged. It's a riff that I did with an Austrian composer and violinist named Irene Keppel, and with a New Zealand performance artist named Kelly Malone, and with me then, which is just last year. Now last year. The First of the Last Wings. Hover, meaning starts, enchants. The cluster of fairies turns wanting, volition, fetch, and so the particles spin in pasture, chanting flowers, the fairies days, rushes to cease from the tide, days honking, arise, extreme, got eyes, proceeding, and if your heart's head steady booms no there, flinted door, window, that's on spite, on that's wired in take example, take it as a half advantage. It's stream. There's the odd are hairs of particles, ajar, and hover over stay pets on Fisher Mercury, gentle's hand on. I want drag on low breath fair cluster of fairies, vegetables happy, starts chanting, flesh and flash, continued shines, current flowers, genitals, hand on breast, mouth, and pearls, bets on the fishes, agent fishes, cream from air. Fistful flying stead in the neck, fairies into door and faces, shop, air gone hit, a cordial dew sprite, current, muffled air, and cast in mass curve, and in cast on the blue carpet, trees, drag on flowers, drag on the fairies, ancient vegetable crumbs from strew your own example. Stars, ruffled water, continual shop, and pearls, stayed in Orion version. Horses, drag on continual shop, current rush, strew lights on the flown arms, trance on rest, hair, stake on want. And the last poem is called Let Me Be Clear. You're right, the first experience, a rain of glass, the first gentle evening by the west, I grew another heart, epenthetic struck, ingenious moderato in the lower strings. Daughters of the thorax shake their head bones. Daughters of the thorax shake their head bones in short order, new knees bending, elative weapons. Sing. The missing pieces macerate crescendo, and I promise not to drape black petals past the gulag. I'm like animal bathysphere. Light cut out my eyes. Splice agent scribe 1,000,000 to the head. It's free beside the road, beside what's terrific, trying to eat the flowers from my mouth, trying to eat the flowers from my mouth. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Lisa Samuels. Thank you very much, Peter Hughes. Thank you very much, Nisha Ramaya. We now have